All right, guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're diving into escalation clauses. What is an escalation clause and how do you use one? So I have the handy dandy paperback here. We're gonna dive into this today because I think that there's gonna be a situation if you're buying a home in 2022 that you're going to potentially need to use an escalation clause with your realtor. So this video we're gonna dedicate to what an escalation clause is, how they work, and when you might need to use one in order to win out the bid on your next property. Thanks for tuning into the video today. My name is Jordan Pyle. I'm your go-to Chicago realtor. And if this has been valuable to you today, do me a favor and leave a like on the video. Comment any additional questions down below that you have about escalation clauses. And definitely be sure to hit the subscribe button before you go so you can catch all of our future videos. All right, so into escalation clauses. You might have heard this term before. These typically get a little bit more popular when you're in a competitive real estate market, like the one we're in as we're moving into 2022, and that we've seen for the past 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 years even. We've seen a seller's market, but the market has been absolutely crazy in the last 2, and we don't expect 2022 to be any different. So you might need to use one of these escalation clauses when it comes to writing an offer on a property. And essentially what we're going to talk about on this video is what exactly is this, how to use it, and a situation or a couple different situations on when you might need to use one in order for you to be as competitive as you possibly can when it comes to making an offer on a property. So starting out, just what is an escalation clause? So think of an escalation clause like this. This is basically what it's saying is that you're willing to offer a certain amount of money for a given property to that seller, and your agent and yourself are going to decide what that offer is and how much you feel comfortable going in as an initial offer on that property. In this example, I want to use $500,000. So $500,000 is the number that you're going to be offering on this property. But by going and seeing the property and having your agent talk to the other agent, the listing agent, about what type of traffic and what type of interest they have on this property, in a seller's market like we're in right now, where there's just way more demand than there is supply, you're going to run into this situation. Your agent might say, hey, I think when we make an offer on this property, we should utilize what's called an escalation clause. And it's basically saying, okay, we're going to be willing to offer our initial offer at $500,000. But we know we're gonna need to pay more than that. But we don't wanna overpay more than what we need to. So we expect there to be multiple offers. So we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna give the seller $500,000, but we're gonna increase this offer with an escalation clause of, let's just say at this price point, $2,500. And we're gonna say, so we're willing to offer $500,000, and we'll increase our offer by $2,500 over the next highest bona fide offer. So if another person submits an offer aside from you, and let's just say that offer comes in higher than yours, and that comes in at $522,500. That buyer really wants this property too, and they know it's a hot market, so they're putting their best foot forward, and they're actually paying $522,500, which is actually $22,500 over the asking price of the property, which is $500,000. We're assuming that the asking price is $500,000. So essentially what we're saying is, hey, we'll give you full ask at $500,000, but we're gonna incorporate $2,500 more than the next highest offer. And by the time that that agent goes and looks at all the different offers that it might be on the table, and they notice that the highest offer is $522,500, but you have an escalation clause. And remember, you said, hey, I'm gonna pay $2,500 over the highest offer, a bona fide offer, up until a cap. And that's what this $525,000 number is. You're saying the most I'm willing to pay for this property at the very end of the day is $525,000. If somebody comes in and offers $530,000, you immediately are out of the running, right? So this is kind of like your line in the sand. I always encourage buyers to think about this. Like, what is the number that if you lose out on this property, you have no remorse whatsoever because it was more than what you were willing to pay based on what we have established as fair market value. Because normally when you're incorporating an escalation clause, you're actually paying more than what the property's worth, but you're willing to pay a little bit more in order for you to secure the property. And with interest rates being low, that has less of an impact than continuing continuously losing out on offers. You're gonna get super frustrated, and then interest rates might continue to rise like they're expected to in 2022. And that, let's just say, a quarter point or half a point of an interest rate is actually gonna cost you a lot more long term than paying maybe 5 or 10% over asking price for the property. So in this example, you would win the offer because this was the highest offer. You would actually get this property because this is where the escalation would kick in. And your escalation, again, is this $2,500 over here. So this is saying your max is $525, and I'm just doing this for this example so the numbers all work out. But this is saying, okay, highest offer is $522.5. This offer, though, now makes your offer the best because this escalates up to $525, and the seller and the seller's agent don't have anything better than $525. So as long as all terms and things like that are apples to apples, this is typically going to mean that you're going to win the property at $525. And remember, let's just say it didn't go all the way to $525, but let's say the next highest offer, instead of it being $522.5, it was, I'm just going to write it down here on the side, it was $505,000. So only $5,000 over asking. So you could still put that offer forward and say, okay, we're going to offer $500,000 as the initial offer. We're going to incorporate a $2,500 escalation clause over the next highest offer, which is $505,000. So now, as long as all terms and things are same, and you're still a competitive offer from all other terms of the contract, now instead of winning this offer for $525, you're escalating over $505. You're actually getting it for $507,500, and that would be the highest offer on the table. So you could see this essentially prevents you from overpaying for the property because you don't know where those other offers are going to come in at. We didn't know if the highest offer was going to be $505 or if it was going to be $522.5. So this protects your downside, saying, hey, we're only willing to pay $2,500 over the next highest offer, and it's going to cap at $525. So if it goes over $525, we lose the property potentially, but we know we're also not leaving any money on the table, and we're getting the property at the amount, the highest amount that we can, still being under whatever we decide our cap is. So that's, in short, kind of how an escalation clause works. There's a lot of different situations of when this might come about. What I see most frequently is when we know there's going to be a multiple offer situation, you could just have to use an escalation clause to be competitive. Sometimes you might make an offer that just says, hey, we're just going to offer $525. That's great, and you might stand out and show as a strong offer. But what happens if the next highest offer was only $505,000? You might be leaving that extra, whatever it is, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 on the table just because you said you were, you don't want to risk it with an escalation, so you just went to the $525 when you really could have got it at the $507,500. Now, not all agents are going to allow escalation clauses when you're offering on a property. So normally your realtor should reach out ahead of time and say, hey, are you accepting escalation clauses? If they say yes, great. If they say no, then you have to have a conversation more along the lines of, okay, like what is the max you're willing to pay for this property no matter what, right? And then that's still that line in the sand. And if it goes over that, you're walking away and you have no remorse. And if you get it at that price, you're happy as well. So that's escalation clauses in a hot spring market where there's very little inventory. You're surely going to want to at least know how to use one of these, whether you need to use it or not. Definitely make sure that you're talking to your realtor, hopefully it's myself, about how to incorporate this into a winning offer strategy. So if this has been helpful, guys, leave a like on this video, comment down below any additional questions. If you have any questions about buying yourself in 2022, I'd be happy to chat with you about your real estate goals and put a plan in place to set you up for success. So feel free to schedule down below a real estate strategy call in the description, and we can chat and talk about what makes the most sense for you. So before you go, guys, do me a favor. The YouTube algorithm loves it if you subscribe to this channel. You're also going to get a lot of different real estate education and content about the Chicago real estate market, as well as living and working in Chicago. So it's been a pleasure being able to share this information with you guys. I've used this time and time again to make sure that my clients win out on offers, and I know that we can do this for you as well. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next video.